excited to be filming this introduction for this video. Finally, I have been off YouTube for such a long time. It's been a very long time. I know. I can be honest with myself. It's been long. The reason for that being is I'm a PhD student, for those who don't know and are new. I'm a PhD student at Royal Holloway, University of London, in my final year. You can find out, maybe I'll put it on the screen somewhere, exactly what I'm researching. Just wanted to say my thesis has now been sent to my supervisors, soon to be sent to my examiners. Everybody panic. I've been dedicating myself to my work, making sure each chapter is polished, ready for submission. So that's why I've been gone for so long. The progress has been really good, so I thought I would just take a break. Sometimes a break is needed. And film this introduction. I'm so excited because, as you can see by the title, we're traveling today. Well, we're actually traveling back in time today because I went to Liverpool and Bristol maybe, I think it was this time last year. I love traveling. I absolutely adore traveling. In fact, somebody once called me the traveling academic. I really love that, and it's true. The vlog that you saw before this one, I was in Leicester. I was at a book festival speaking on a panel in Leicester. The vlog that you're going to see after this was when I was in Bath, which is a really exciting vlog. But today we're going to Liverpool and Bristol. And before we even go further, I just want to say a massive thank you to Royal Holloway Doctoral School for funding this trip. Last year I applied for the Research Awards, which is a travel award scheme open to postgraduate researchers looking for funding for research trips. So thank you so much to Royal Holloway. I'm so blessed to have been one of the winning recipients, and it was wonderful. But without further ado, let's get into the... I'm travelling to Liverpool to visit the International Slavery Museum and to also consider how slavery in the Caribbean unjustly benefited Britain. We see it in the grandeur of the architecture, street names, the docks, and the cultural diversity which now paints an image of Liverpool. Welcome to Liverpool, internationally renowned for its contribution to music as the home of the world famous and critically acclaimed pop band, the Beatles. It is claimed by many historians that approximately 3/4 of all European ships that left Britain to go to Africa were from Liverpool. To put that into perspective, about half of the 3 million enslaved Africans that left Britain to go to the Caribbean were from Liverpool ships. It is without doubt that Liverpool is one of those cities that was built economically and socially on the backs of enslaved labour. It's day one, and today we're starting our journey at the Royal Albert Docks to visit the International Slavery Museum, which opened in 2007, the bicentenary year of the abolition of the slave trade. The museum is located on the 3rd floor of the Merseyside Maritime Museum. Let's go take a look. The museum takes a chronological order. As you enter, you are met with a staging of life in West Africa before colonialism. As you move further through the museum, you'll see objects depicting slave ships on the Middle Passage, painting the harrowing image of human trafficking of peoples from Africa to the Americas. There is also an immersive space which has been designed to replicate the inside of the slave ship. And then finally, the museum tells the story of plantation life, featuring a diorama, a 3-dimensional model replicating a typical sugar plantation in the Caribbean. friend from the future. I just thought I would interrupt this showcase and just offer some context here because it is vitally important. This part of the museum is just important to me. And I just thought it would add great context to those who are new here. My research is not only centered on Caribbean neo-slave narratives, but also I'm arguing that these writers are producing counter-representations to popular and pervasive anti-Black stereotypes like the Mammy, the Jezebel, the Mandingo. You may be most familiar with caricatures like Uncle Tom or the Magical Negro. I'm literally in the middle of editing this video and I just got to this point and I said, this would be great to kind of stop here and just give some context. I also got word beforehand, before coming, that the museum housed a copy of The Little Black Sambo, which is so hard to find in the UK because it was banned in most bookstores and libraries for obvious reasons because it's racist. The only copy that I'd ever seen of this book was when I went to the Jim Crow Museum in America, in Michigan. Actually, that was my very, very first video here on YouTube. So do go back and check that out. That gives you the best explanation as to my work. I just wanted to stop and let you guys know. Bye. Next, I visited a pop-up exhibition just next door in the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. building, a display entitled Meet Me at the River by MAMA, the Migrant Artists Mutual Aid. According to the National Museum's Liverpool website, MAMA was founded in 2011 and it is a cross-national network of women, mothers, migrants, artists, academics and activists who work together to support members who are seeking sanctuary and campaign for justice in the migration system. This was their artistic response to Liverpool's historic role in slavery through an immersive soundscape of music and spoken word. Walked across the Royal Albert Dock to find some food. It was really cute. Lots of little souvenir or gift shops with beautiful views of little boats on the river. I really wanted something hearty like a burger, something grilled. So we ended up at a restaurant called What's Cooking and I had the most delicious meal. So I stayed at the Pullman Hotel. Very nice, very clean, hospitable service. I would definitely recommend. Had breakfast in the morning, but you'll see. This is day 2, so we are going to do a few things today before I get on a train. So after breakfast, I'm heading into town to visit the Museum of Liverpool, which really gives insight into the history and more popular culture of this city. It features some incredible art and artifacts, great exhibitions and displays, and this stunning view. It also has an immersive 360 room showcasing the lives of the Beatles. Visuals are accompanied by a soundscape. Interviews by members of the band, as well as some of their popular songs, make up the experience. So then it was time to stop for some food, and I had the most delicious Greek lunch. Right next to this pop-up food stall was an exhibitionary tour of an old boat, and it was free, so of course I jumped on.
Retired now. It was a working tug in the Mersey.
Okay.
It retired in 1989, I think.
Does it not work anymore? Is that why?
It doesn't work as a tug, but everything is working. All the machinery is original and it still works.
Oh wow. I was about to leave, but now I found another gallery that I really want to look at. It's called Follow the River, Follow the Thread, Africa and Sustainable Futures. To go home, so goodbye Liverpool. Today I'm travelling to Bristol, a city of radical protest against its racist history. I'll be visiting the Georgian House Museum, an 18th century 6-storey townhouse which was once the home of a wealthy sugar plantation owner and merchant. Welcome to Bristol. Behind me is the Georgian House Museum, an 18th century build. This Georgian house has become a symbol of the wealth and the opulence of British plantation owners, but this was the home of the notorious enslaver John Pinney. As well as helping to manage the plantations over on the Caribbean island of Nevis, Pinney also enslaved an African man who worked with him here. By 1760, there were 20 sugar refineries in this city alone. This was dependent on enslaved people's planting and cutting and crushing and the boiling of sugar, which was a back-breaking and dangerous work. It's an idea of the wealth production of British enslavers. We're going to go take a look at the Georgian House, which has been turned into a museum for visitors to come regularly. Come with me, let's go take a look inside. The house is displayed as it might have looked in the 18th century and provides an insight into life above and below stairs. Formal rooms, John Pinney's office, 2 dining rooms, a library and 2 drawing rooms. These rooms create the perfect scene to imagine what life was like in this affluent area hundreds of years ago. On the second floor, there is what would have been John Pinney's bedroom. Beautiful white and wooden furnishings, large paintings, beautiful views of the city, fireplace, dressing table, a room fit for a king of exploitation. The museum staff has turned one of the upstairs rooms into a small exhibition of Pinney's involvement in the sugar trade. Names on a wall of all of the people he enslaved. In 1765, at the age of just 12, Pero Jones was brought by John Pinney to work on the Mount Travers plantation in Nevis. In 1784, he accompanied the family in their move to Bristol. Pero's Bridge, the footbridge across Bristol's floating harbour, was named in commemoration of the enslaved man who lived and died in this city. The lower levels of the house include the basement, where you can see the kitchen, housekeeper's room, pantry and views to the garden. The work and living of the servants, including Pero, was restricted to the lower levels of the house. Between the upper levels and lower levels, there are noticeable differences in the objects and furnishings of the spaces, which demonstrate the racialization and class differences of those who spent time there. The last room I visited featured an installation called Leave the Light When You Leave for Good, a black and white 3-channel video display. The central component is the beam from a lighthouse in perpetual motion, which casts light on the surrounding ocean scene. In another video, a lighthouse keeper appears as a custodian of this light, tending to it by continually cleaning the bulb. These performative gestures are a representation of an African practice of the praise singing of clan names. It is a response to the violence of historical erasure of names and oral traditions. Praise singing was a way of passing down the origins of the family story as an act of resistance. After a long but interesting day of research, I then walked over to Bristol Museum and Art Gallery, Bristol's Central Museum, to freely explore and unwind. Come with me. Let's spend these last moments exploring together. Thought I would have a wander of the University of Bristol.